There is a silent war being fought every single day. It isn't fought with weapons, armies, or money. It is fought inside your mind. Every notification, every argument, every emotional crisis competing for your attention is fighting for the most valuable resource you possess, your focus. In 2026, intelligence alone is no longer enough. Information is everywhere. Knowledge is cheap. The real competitive advantage is the ability to think clearly while everyone else is reacting emotionally. Yet, countless men unknowingly surrender that advantage because they believe that being endlessly empathetic is always the right thing to do. Empathy is a remarkable human quality. It helps us connect, build trust, and support the people we care about. But like every strength, empathy becomes dangerous when it exists without boundaries. When compassion replaces judgment, it creates opportunities for manipulation. When your desire to help overrides your ability to analyze, you stop making decisions based on reality and start making them based on emotional pressure. This isn't about becoming cold or heartless, nor is it about blaming women or assuming that every emotional expression is manipulative. Men and women alike are capable of unhealthy emotional behaviors. The real lesson is learning to recognize when emotions are being used to bypass logic. Because once that happens, someone else begins controlling your attention, your decisions, and ultimately your life. The modern world has become an attention economy. Social media platforms don't reward calm, rational thinking. They reward outrage, conflict, drama, and emotional intensity. The more emotional the content, the more engagement it receives. Over time, we become conditioned to believe that emotional reactions deserve immediate attention, while facts can wait. That conditioning doesn't stay online. It slowly enters our workplaces, our friendships, and our relationships. Some people consciously and others unconsciously learn that emotional escalation is an effective way to gain influence. Instead of solving problems, they create urgency. Instead of presenting evidence, they increase emotional intensity. Instead of encouraging productive conversations, they generate endless conflict that demands your energy but never reaches resolution. Not every disagreement is manipulation, and not every emotional conversation is unhealthy. Real people experience real pain, and healthy relationships require empathy. But there is an important difference between supporting someone through a genuine problem and becoming trapped in a cycle where every conversation revolves around managing someone else's emotions while no real progress is ever made. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is confusing empathy with responsibility. You can understand someone's emotions without becoming responsible for fixing them. Unfortunately, many men are raised to believe that their value comes from solving problems. They are taught to protect, provide, rescue, and fix. These qualities are admirable, but when they become automatic, they create vulnerability. The moment you assume responsibility for solving every emotional crisis around you, you surrender control over your own priorities. You stop investing your energy into your health, your career, your business, your family, and your long-term goals because you are constantly responding to someone else's immediate emotional demands. Psychologists have long studied concepts such as emotional contagion, compassion fatigue, and decision fatigue. Human cognitive resources are limited. Every emotionally charged interaction consumes mental bandwidth. Every unresolved conflict occupies working memory. Every unnecessary argument reduces the attention available for creative thinking, strategic planning, and effective decision making. Think about the last time you spent hours replaying an argument in your head. Even after the conversation ended, your mind remained trapped inside it. You weren't fully present at work, your productivity declined, your patience decreased, you became mentally exhausted, even though nothing physically demanding had happened. This is the hidden cost of unmanaged emotional involvement. The highest performing individuals understand that attention is a finite resource. Just as investors protect their financial capital, elite performers protect their cognitive capital. They recognize that not every problem deserves immediate emotional investment. One pattern worth recognizing is the cycle of manufactured chaos. It often begins with a relatively small issue. Instead of focusing on solutions, the discussions expands. New accusations appear. Old grievances are brought back. The original issue disappears completely. Hours later, everyone is emotionally exhausted, yet nothing has actually been resolved. Another common pattern involves circular conversations. The same topics repeat over and over without reaching any meaningful conclusion. The objective isn't clarity. The objective becomes keeping the conversation emotionally alive. Some people also rely on guilt-based language designed to bypass logical analysis. Statements such as, "if you really cared," or "a real man would understand," shift the conversation away from evidence and toward emotional obligation. Healthy relationships encourage honest communication and mutual accountability. Manipulative dynamics often encourage emotional compliance instead. This is why learning to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful skills a man can develop. Emotional pressure naturally creates urgency. Logic creates distance. Before responding, ask yourself a few simple questions. What actually happened? What evidence supports this claim? Is this person genuinely looking for a solution or simply looking for someone to absorb their emotions? Does becoming emotionally reactive improve the situation, or does it only increase the conflict? These questions sift your brain out of emotional autopilot and back into analytical thinking. The strongest men are not emotionally numb. They simply refuse to let emotions become the only basis for decision making. They recognize feelings without allowing feelings to replace facts. Developing what we might call a logic-first framework doesn't mean rejecting empathy. It means putting analysis before reaction. Listen first, observe carefully, separate objective facts from emotional interpretation. Identify incentives, ask what outcome each person is trying to achieve. Then decide how much emotional energy the situation truly deserves. Sometimes the most powerful response is not a long explanation. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is a short, respectful answer followed by action instead of argument. Emotional escalation often depends on participation. Refusing to participate removes much of its power. Protecting your mental performance should become a daily habit. At the end of each day, ask yourself a few honest questions. Did today's conversations move me closer to my goals? Did I spend more time solving meaningful problems or managing unnecessary emotional conflict? Did I act from purpose or did I react from guilt? These simple reflections gradually retrain the mind to prioritize what truly matters. Every hour spent trapped in avoidable drama is an hour not spent building your future. Every unnecessary conflict steals time from your ambitions, your relationships, your physical health, and your peace of mind. Success is rarely destroyed by one catastrophic mistake. More often, it is slowly eroded through thousands of small distractions that consume attention day after day. The reality is simple. Your mind is your greatest competitive advantage. Your ability to think clearly under pressure will determine the quality of your decisions, your leadership, your relationships, and your future. Protecting that ability is not selfish, it is responsible. True emotional intelligence is not about saying yes to every emotional demand. It is knowing when empathy is appropriate, when boundaries are necessary, and when logic must lead. The goal is not emotional suppression, the goal is emotional mastery. Real strength isn't measured by how much chaos you can absorb. It is measured by how effectively you can remain calm, objective, and purposeful while chaos surrounds you. So remember this, logic without empathy can become cruelty. Empathy without logic can become vulnerability. But when compassion is guided by reason and emotion is balanced with discipline, you become extraordinarily difficult to manipulate. That is the kind of man EvoLeveX is built to develop. If this video challenged the way you think, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to EvoLeveX. We are building a community of men committed to discipline, leadership, mental resilience, financial growth, and elite performance. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new video, and let us know in the comments what has been the biggest lesson you have learned about protecting your mental energy. Until next time, remember our mission: evolve, elevate, excel.